In the battle for power, democracy has a new front line. Elections around the world are being fought less and less on doorsteps and hustings.
Never shall we lose our faith and courage, and never shall we fail in exertion and resolve.
And more on screens and social media. It's an online information war where often unseen hands harvest your personal data, tapping into your hopes and fears for the greatest political yield. And one British company is at the very heart of it. They've worked under the radar in elections in Nigeria, Kenya, the Czech Republic, India and Argentina. But they are best known for their work in America.
There can be no prosperity without law and order.
That company is Cambridge Analytica.
Is that immediately recording?
Yeah.
After a 4-month undercover investigation, tonight a glimpse into how they really operate.
Yeah, it does look like it.
Prepared, it seems, to ruin their clients' opponents through handouts and honey traps.
Send some girls around to Candy's house.
Through sex, secrets and spies.
I know people who used to work for MI5, MI6.
Old-style tactics wedded to the new.
We just put information into the bloodstream, to the internet, and then watch it grow.
Whether the true backdrop or just bravado.
You take care, my friend.
This is Cambridge Analytica Uncovered.
Great pleasure.
Yes, okay. Okay, thank you very much. Huh?
Till next time.
Goodbye, gentlemen. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to speak to you about the evolution taking place in marketing and communications.
This is Cambridge Analytica's boss, Alexander Nix. He's become a digital celebrity, headlining last year's Online Marketing Rockstars Festival. Fame followed after being hired by the Trump campaign. Steve Bannon, then a key Trump advisor, had been a vice president of Cambridge Analytica, a de facto founding father. And the company would soon be feted in some quarters as the digital gurus behind that shock victory.
But we were able to use data to identify that there was very large quantities of persuadable voters there that could be influenced to vote for the Trump campaign.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
Political campaigns have changed, and elections are won by small but crucial numbers of votes. Putting the right message in front of the right person at the right moment is more important than ever.
Cambridge Analytica acquires and analyzes vast amounts of personal data to identify swing voters, to work out what they care about.
So you know exactly who to target with exactly what type of message.
And then influence them through bespoke adverts on social media.
Hillary Clinton, a danger to national security.
These micro-targeting methods the company boasts privately were integral to Trump's victory.
Thank you.
But with success has come notoriety. Trump's opponents have demanded the company's tactics be investigated. Others allege they had a hand in the Brexit campaign. From the shadows, hijacking democracy is the accusation. Cambridge Analytica has always ridiculed these claims, fueled, they say, by the bitter grievances of rivals, beaten opponents, and liberal media. Hoping to get an inside track on Cambridge Analytica, we posed as a potential client of theirs. As an agent from Sri Lanka, together with his assistant, interested in hiring Cambridge Analytica to achieve electoral success in Sri Lanka. The company agrees to meet, the setting a hotel in London's Belgravia. Up first, Alex Taylor, their chief data officer, and managing director Mark Turnbull, two of the most senior figures in Cambridge Analytica.
Good afternoon.
No, hello.
Mark Turnbull.
Mark Turnbull.
Very pleased to meet you.
How do you do?
Ranjan.
Our fixer says he's working for a wealthy Sri Lankan family, wondering how Cambridge Analytica might help them get future candidates elected. The two businessmen in turn pitch their highly acclaimed data analysis work and their global reach.
If you're collecting data on people and you're profiling them, that gives you more insight that you can use to know how to segment the population, to give them messaging about issues that they care about, and language and imagery that they're likely to engage with. And we use that in America, and we use that in Africa. That's what we do as a company.
Yeah. We've done it in Mexico, we've done it in Malaysia, we're now moving into Brazil. Different countries, China.
Brazil is big.
Australia, China.
But China also.
Just starting in China, not in politics.
But when we raise the issue of gleaning intelligence on opponents, suddenly a door opens onto an altogether different form of data gathering.
You mentioned intelligence gathering as well as part of the mix, didn't you?
Yeah, corporate, yes.
We have relationships and partnerships with specialist organisations that do that kind of work. You know who the opposition is, you know their secrets, you know their tactics. Thank you, Ranjan.
Okay.
Till next time.
Yes.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Such an approach, they've since told us, is not unusual in political campaigns. We'll hear more on that later. Another meeting was arranged, and this time, a fortnight later at a different London hotel, we get from Cambridge Analytica a memorable lesson in modern electoral tactics.
The two fundamental human drivers when it comes to taking information on board effectively are hopes and fears, and many of those are unspoken and even unconscious. You didn't know that was a fear until you saw something that just evoked that reaction from you.
Right.
And our job is to drop the bucket further down the well than anybody else, to understand what are those really deep-seated underlying fears, concerns. There's no good fighting an election campaign on the facts, because actually it's all about emotion.
And in one of their recent overseas campaigns, there was no shortage of emotion. In last year's chaotic and at times violent Kenyan elections, the company worked secretly for the incumbent President Uhuru Kenyatta. The campaign was marked by misinformation. Fake news spread through the internet and smartphones. In one survey, 90% of Kenyans said they'd heard or seen false stories about the election. Apocalyptic videos like this, smearing Kenyatta's opponent, Raila Odinga, went viral in the toxic political atmosphere. This one appears to target specific fears: health, infrastructure, the terror threat, and was heavily promoted on social media and Google. But no one in Kenya seemingly knew who was behind it. Cambridge Analytica strenuously deny any involvement with these videos, or any role in negative political campaigning there. In public, they've said little about their recent involvement in Kenya, but in private, it's a source of evident pride.
The Kenyatta campaign, which we ran in 2013 and 2017 for Kenyatta.
And what you have done in the Kenya?
We have rebranded the entire party twice, written their manifesto, done 2 rounds of 50,000 surveys.
Huge amounts of research, analysis, messaging.
And then we'd write all the speeches and we'd stage the whole thing. So just about every element of his campaign.
Okay. Plenty of political parties, of course, hire in consultants to help them win elections, but being able to scrutinise what they do and what tactics they deploy matters. In our next meeting with Mark Turnbull at this Knightsbridge Hotel, we get a startling account of a company prepared to wade into a foreign election and then disappear without a trace. Our fixer is about to bring up the subject of digging dirt on political opponents. And Mark Turnbull says he knows ex-spies in other companies who could help.
There are various intelligence gathering organizations that operate very discreetly to find information like that. So I know people who used to work for MI5, MI6, they now work for these
Private organizations.
private organizations.
Okay.
They will find all the skeletons in his closet, quietly, discreetly, give you a report.
And then, once the dirt has been dug, out it, discreetly, he goes on to say, at the right moment. Whatever the political message, subtlety is key.
It has to happen without anyone thinking that's propaganda. Because the moment you think that's propaganda, the next question is, who's put that out?
Yes.
So we have to be very subtle.
And for a client worried about anyone discovering Cambridge Analytica's involvement, they've an answer for that too.
It may be that we have to contract under a different name.
For Cambridge Analytica.
A different entity with a different name, so that no record exists with our name attached to this item.
The invisible power brokers of modern politics. But in their craft, they insist, lies a code of conduct.
So we're not in the business of fake news. We're not in the business of lying, making stuff up, and we're not in the business of entrapment. So we wouldn't send a pretty girl out to seduce a politician and then film them in their bedroom and then release the film. There are companies that do this, but to me that crosses a line.
This was a battle cry for electoral ethics, but how hollow it would soon sound.
Hello?
Finally, the man at the helm of Cambridge Analytica, CEO Alexander Nix, has agreed to meet. In a phone call first to our fixer, the final sales pitch begins.
We are not only the largest and most significant political consultancy in the world, but we have the most established track record. We're used to operating through different vehicles in the shadows, and I look forward to building a very long-term and secretive relationship with you.
It would be our final meeting with Cambridge Analytica. Mark Turnbull now joined by his boss, Old Etonian Alexander Nix. This the man who in public eulogises free and fair elections, but who in private, we're about to discover, appears to play dirty. For a company claiming not to be in the business of entrapment, listen now to Alexander Nix when our fixer raises again the topic of digging up damaging material on political opponents.
And what we want to know is what is the expertise of the deep digging that you can do to make sure that the people know the true identity and secrets of these people.
We do a lot more than that. I mean, deep digging is interesting, but equally effective can be just to go and speak to the incumbents and to offer them a deal that's too good to be true and make sure that that's video recorded. These sorts of tactics are very effective. Instantly having video evidence of corruption, putting it on the internet, these sorts of things.
And the operative you will use for this is who?
Well, someone known to us.
Okay, so it is somebody, you won't use a Sri Lankan person, no? Because then there's issue.
We'll have a wealthy developer come in, somebody posing as a wealthy developer.
I'm a master of disguise.
Yes. They will offer a large amount of money to the candidate to finance his campaign in exchange for land, for instance. We'll have the whole thing recorded on cameras. We'll blank out the face of our guy, and we'll have posted on the internet.
So it'll on the Facebook or YouTube or something like this. It can be done.
We'll send some girls around to the candidate's house. We have lots of history of things.
For example, you're saying when you're using the girls, to introduce to the local fellow, and you're using the girls for this like seduction. They're not local girls, not Sri Lankan girls.
I wouldn't have thought so. They could bring some. I mean, that was just an idea. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We could bring some Ukrainians in on holiday with us. You know?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. They are very beautiful Ukrainian girls.
They are very beautiful.
Yes.
I find that works very well. Please don't pay too much attention to what I'm saying, because I'm just giving you examples of
what can happen,
what can be done, and what has been done.
Yes.
It sounds like electoral power by expose, the poster boy of predictive analytics touting a sideline, you might think, in sex workers and stings. Ethics perhaps somewhat expendable, like the truth.
I mean, it sounds a dreadful thing to say, but these are things that don't necessarily need to be true, as long as they're believed.
Next comes the most illuminating account yet of potential subterfuge. To hide their role from prying eyes, Nick says they can operate in elections under a variety of guises.
So often we would set up if we are working, then we can set up fake IDs and websites. We can go any students doing research projects attached to the university. We can be tourists. You know,
Right.
There's so many options
Okay.
we can look at. We have lots of experience.
And for added secrecy, there's always the option of subcontracting into the world of ex-spies.
Yes, we've just used a different organisation to run a very, very successful project in a Eastern European country, where they did no one even knew they were there. They just ghosted in, did the work, ghosted out, and produced really, really good material. So we have experience in doing this.
How is it done with the payment to these organizations where you're using another organization?
We take care of that. We subcontract to them.
So we pay you, and then you will...
We use some British companies. We use some Israeli companies.
Israeli? Israeli? From Israel?
From Israel.
Right.
Very effective in intelligence gathering.
So there you have it. Democracy, data, and dirty tricks. The self-proclaimed digital masterminds who may have swayed an American election, offering to influence others by means covert and corrupt.
Mark, always a great pleasure to meet you. Huh?
Great pleasure.
Yes.
Amidst the secrecy and stings, they spoke of offering to bribe foreign officials. That's against the law in Britain and the US. How much of this was hype? How much the truth? We may never know. In the dark arts of democracy, Cambridge Analytica are, after all, modern masters of disguise. From one election to another, ghosting in and ghosting out.